is my bud, Owen Reeves. Hey, Owen.
Hello.
How's it going?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well.
Excellent.
Now, Owen, we all know you as the gardening guy, the plant guy. But what I did not know is that today you're coming in, you're playing Matchmaker.
Yes, exciting,
What is
right?
listen, I've only ever played Matchmaker like once, and it was a terrible disaster.
With humans?
Humans.
Human matchmaking a little harder.
A little harder,
Yeah, I think that's like a high risk, high reward situation. Yeah.
I agree. We're going a little lower risk here.
Lower risk, absolutely.
You're playing Matchmaker between personalities and plants.
You got it.
Okay, I like this.
And we'll have to start with something that maybe you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
So we're going to start with the foodie in your life.
Okay, right on.
And we're going citrus.
Oh, nice.
And so at this time of year, the really cool thing about citrus is in your house, it flowers. And it smells incredible.
Yeah.
So this is a calamondin orange. And if you had this like in a kitchen or in a, a bright bedroom, it smells amazing. You wake up every morning, you're like,
Yeah.
very, very sweet fragrance. And of course, you also get fruit.
Yeah.
And so we've got a kumquat, that's that tree next to it there, which are the cutest little citrus.
They are very cute.
And you eat the whole thing.
Those are almost full size,
right?
too.
That's about as big as they get.
Yeah.
And so the taste that you're gonna get from something that you actually grow is so much better than what you pick up in the store. And you realize whatever you get, it's like green when they pulled it off the tree.
Totally.
Have something that's tree ripened, it is totally different. Like, it doesn't even matter what kind, a lemon.
Yeah.
The flavor on a lemon is like, you just wanna eat it.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be, even cooked. Really fun. They need bright light.
Okay.
So this is not a low light situation, and you might even need to add some supplemental light for them to keep them happy. And it's best to have them live outside in the summer.
Oh, okay.
So, but it doesn't have to be super hot. They can take some cold weather.
Okay.
So even, down in Florida, they get some cold weather. Citrus is still okay.
Yeah.
So actually fairly forgiving, but it does need that light. That's an important thing.
That's very cool. Now, this one here you said was an orange tree, and I'm trying to find... Oh, look. Okay, wait. Can you guys see this? I'm holding my finger up to it. Do you see that? That
The
little
tiny
dot
little
right there?
baby orange.
That's going to be an orange one day. Can you even deal?
And that's the fun part too, because they start out as this tiny little, like, get the magnifying glass thing. And that could turn into like a grapefruit. And you can grow that in your house. And that's the really cool thing.
Fantastic. That is fantastic. All right, now moving on, we're going for maybe someone who's a little bit of a sun seeker.
Yes, yes. So we're going things, when I think sun, I'm thinking cactus.
Yes.
So these are also plants that you kind of need to travel for. And at this time of year, folks, might be going to warmer regions. You might see things like this. So these are all succulents, not all cactus. A lot of them are. So we've got some pokey ones and some that
are all cacti succulents, but not all succulents are cacti?
Correct. Whoa. Yes, that is right. Yeah. So succulents is like the broader umbrella term. We do have lots of succulents that grow here, but no cacti. Actually, no, that's a lie. I'm lying. There is one that grows even in Ontario. Tiny little prickly pear. You wouldn't recognize it.
Okay, got it.
These are proper desert plants. So these, much like our citrus, bright light. Bright light is totally essential. These are not low light plants. There are some succulents that'll do low light, but not these ones. So these need to go in a either direct sunlight or just a brightly lit room. And these are so forgiving for care. The mistake people always make with these is overwatering.
Oh, okay.
These need to be watered, especially in the case of things like these barrel cactus. Like, you can count on both hands in a whole year the number of times you have to water these. So they'll go through the summer for like 2 or 3 months without needing water. They are totally fine. These are bone dry right now. There is no water at all in the soil. They're totally fine.
They're totally happy.
Because they store all the water inside. So some of these, like this is called fire sticks.
Oh, I'm allowed to touch this one?
You're allowed to touch this one, no spines.
Okay.
These ones will need a little bit more water compared, but very, very low care.
See, I like that. That is fantastic. Now, moving on, we're going, maybe someone who's a little bit of like an antique or a vintage lover.
Yes. So we're going to a couple of extremely vintage plants. So we're going to start in the front. So that is jade. Oh. And this is like one of the kind of OG indoor plants of all time. People have been keeping these for thousands of years inside. And it's actually a great indoor plant. Also fairly bright light, not quite as much as these guys, but it does need a bright spot. They grow slowly, and they have this natural bonsai character to them. Or you can actually shape them into proper bonsai if you want. Also a succulent, so same broader group as this, and so are these guys. This is different kinds of jade, these two that we have in the front. So these will grow ultimately into something that big if you let them, but you can trim them to keep them down to a small size. Those are great, very old school vibes. They work in lots of spaces. And then the other one, this is called a parlor palm, which even the word parlor, that's pretty vintage.
It does feel very vintage, for sure.
So this is, you know, Victorian times you could see things like that, but even up to the Art Deco period, these were a very popular houseplant. And if you want to try growing a palm, try this one. This is definitely the easiest and also the lowest light tolerant.
Oh, okay.
Most palms you need a lot of bright space, and they're also pretty big.
Yeah.
This one, you can even start with a smaller one. This is a good size specimen, and they work great on a tabletop. You could put them on a plant stand, and that'll grow big enough to be a floor plant with time if you put it in a big enough pot. But if you've struggled to grow palms inside, try this one. So this is a parlor palm. We also call that Neantha Bella.
Both are fancy.
I know, very fancy. Really great, and a very cool vintage aesthetic to those. So if you got somebody that likes the old school, these are good bets.
These are very good. I feel like I need to speak in like a mid-Atlantic, like, my parlor palm.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Very
Put
cool.
on your flapper dress.
Exactly.
And
That's honestly, she looks like she's wearing one currently, so I love that. All right, now finally, we are kind of bookending this segment with things that I love. We started with the food. We're going for the bookworms in your life.
You got it. I think you might fall in this group too.
I definitely do. I love books. I was so excited to get home and read yesterday.
That's amazing. You're not alone. It's a great time of year to do that too. So these are some plants that you can imagine putting in your book nook. It's an eclectic collection of things that are small, so they could go on a shelf, they could go on a table, and they're fairly low care, and also a lot of them are fairly low light tolerant. So starting with the ottoman in front, we've got Pilia and Rex begonia, really fun, colorful foliage plants that don't ever really get that big. You can keep them in a small pot kind of forever. And then when we've got the coffee table next to the chairs there, a number of other cute ones, maidenhair fern, peperomia, Pilia.
Peperomia?
Peperomia,
oh, okay.
Yes. That's that kind of mottled white and green leaf. And those are, like, if you are somebody that struggles to keep houseplants alive, try that one. Very forgiving, and there's lots of colors and shapes of it. And then trailing plants are another great one that work very well on shelves. So we've got the golden pothos in the back there, that yellow chartreuse leaf one. That's also probably maybe even the #1 recommendation of the I kill house plants.
Okay.
Grow pothos. It is so forgiving. It's super low light tolerant. It can completely dry out. It'll tolerate being soaked and overwatered. So learn with that one, and then you can graduate to some more complicated options like the citrus. So eclectic, different pots, small things that don't need a lot of care. That's what I kind of picture going in a book nook.
I love that.
And you know, you get your colorful book jackets and spines, and they all blend in.
And leaving enough room for books. I love that so much. Owen, you're always thinking. Thanks so much. That was great, Mr. Matchmaker. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.